And in patients who have pre-existing cardiovascular disease and are overweight or obese, but do not have diabetes, those randomized to weight loss doses of Ozempic had an overall lower rate of either having a cardiovascular event like a heart attack or stroke, or dying from it compared to placebo. That's exciting, but we have to highlight another caveat, though. The researchers just looked at those with pre-existing cardiovascular disease. That's an important limitation of these findings. The effects of these weight loss drugs on the prevention of cardiovascular events in those without diagnosed atherosclerotic disease have not yet been determined. Still, a lot of overweight people have a history of a heart attack, stroke, or peripheral vascular disease, so how big is the benefit? Over a period of a few years, 8% of people with cardiovascular disease suffered another event on the placebo, but only 6.5% suffered a subsequent event on the drug. Going from 8 to 6.5 is a 20% drop. You can see it clearly if you zoom in. Unfortunately, many news stories focused on that 20% relative risk reduction, rather than on the absolute risk reduction of 1.5%. Yes, 8 to 6.5 is a 20% drop, but at the same time, you're really only reducing your absolute risk by 1.5%. In other words, you'd have to treat 67 people with the drug for a few years to prevent one heart attack or stroke or cardiovascular death. That may not sound like much on an individual scale. I mean, what are the odds you're going to be that 1 in 67th person? But on a population scale, it's huge. In fact, it's right up there with cholesterol-lowering statin drugs, which have an absolute risk reduction in the same 1.5% ballpark. So indeed, in March 2024, the Food and Drug Administration approved high-dose Ozempic for use beyond just weight loss, but also for reducing cardiovascular risk in those with prior cardiovascular disease.